Hey everyone, it's time to Nephis and Mauled. So I was gonna make the PTS Patch Notes Week 5 video, and this is basically that video. I was gonna do it earlier, but I was kind of like a little bit, emotionally flared up. So I was like, you know what, let me just simmer down, take a step back, and not, regret what I'm gonna say. So here I am, a little late, a little day over late. And the biggest thing about these patch notes is, please note, in order to test proper access to the upcoming chapter, only those who have a pre-purchased High will be able to access the content starting with this patch. Should you decide to pre-purchase after this patch goes live, you immediately regain access to all chapter content as intended. So what is this? What is the takeaway from this? What is the point of this? So basically, there have been times in the past where, with Blackwood, Greymoor, and stuff like that, that some people, or I guess a fair amount of people who did not buy the chapter still got the chapter, and some people had the chapter, or bought the chapter, didn't have the chapter active for some reason. There's bugs with chapter releases, right? And in terms of purchases, sometimes there would be, I believe there was a server rollback at one point for Greymoor, so that was reset. And I guess that they're just trying to avoid this. But my question is, I guess, it's like self-answered, right? Why they're doing this on the essentially the third to last week of PTS, right? What this is basically forcing people to do is they have to pre-order the chapter to go onto the public test server and test stuff for feedback or bugs or something, right? Or maybe there's potential exploits to be had or something. Basically, the player is performing the role of quality assurance here for free, usually, but I think this is the first time ever where they're like, oh, yeah, basically pre-order a chapter to have access to it. There was a time in Morrowind where I believe it was invite only, which I think was stupid too, and there was also an NDA, which I think was stupid too, and banned accounts got invited to Morrowind PTS and such, and that was also kind of a weird thing. This is even weirder, and at first I was like, what the heck is this, right? Like, you're paying to give feedback, basically? I mean, whoa, like, obviously there are bugs with the High chapter access right now, alright? Some people are saying they can't port into the trial. There may be a bug that's consistent. I'm not sure what's going on there. It's probably a bug, considering they want people to have pre-order chapter to access the PTS. And it's like, it's bugged. We know this, and you're trying to fix it. Okay, cool. But at the same time, why week 5? So what's happening right now is there's 7 weeks of PTS, essentially. Week 1 through week 5 is the regular PTS cycle where they, churn out the patch notes and make changes and stuff like that. Week 6 is Stadia recertification, and this time week 7 is just there because they launched PTS for the chapter a week earlier than historically speaking. So that's why we have 7 weeks in the PTS technically, instead of the usual 6 weeks or the original 5 weeks. I feel like every year they add a new week, but yeah, that's what's going on here, and this is the last set of patch notes. So I was like, what the heck is going on? I tweeted out, I basically tweeted out, nice cat. I tweeted out, like, I don't know, I didn't know what to say, so I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna type some random emotes, and I'm just looking at this, and then Gina basically tweets back, I love Gina. Don't you roll your eyes at me, mister. It's to test to make sure those who are supposed to have access have the right access. We are testing on the test server. Okay, fair enough, but why? I mean, like, I don't get it. Like, they could have used that 7th week to do this right now, because I know a bunch of raid teams that had to cancel their PTS raids because not everybody pre-ordered the chapter. We're not even sure what's going on there with some of the bugs in regards to the chapter access, where people apparently have access regardless, despite this patch. Yeah, so it's like it's kind of a huge inconvenience, and I think for a lot of people, including myself initially, and I think still a little bit, like, it feels like a slap in the face. Like, we we bared with the fact that we cannot test hard mode until week 3, starting with Rockgrove. Our feedback on that was pretty much kind of ignored, not really taken seriously, and then they nerfed Mistform after that. For this trial, I feel like there was a lot more testing to do. There is still a lot more testing to do. And they have, for the most part, it seems like adjusted the new trial, for the most part, not all of it, on our feedback, based on our feedback. Although the trial itself has some issues that I think people have raised up, like Code and Skinny and other people. But that's besides the point. It just felt like a slap in the face, because it's like, okay, we're going to PTS. Not everyone pre-ordered yet because they want to see what the trial is like. So my only question here is this like a precedent going forward? I guess it's a bug, right? So they can't predict it, but at the same time, do you this is causing a lot of concern with people. Like, do you need to pre-order to access PTS? I don't really understand if that happens, because you're getting free QA from players, you're getting free feedback from players, and the only people who go on there is just content creators and giving their own feedback, right? But then when you already cut down on a very small population of testers and endgame players who know what they're doing, it just kind of rubs me the wrong way. I'm sure that's not the intent here, but it's like timing is really weird. And of course, like I see like why they had to do it, but like at the same time, it's like, can you just maybe done it, week 7? And I get it, sure. And then my question to Gina was like, well, will the people not get access next week if they didn't pre-order, right? Obviously, I hope like this is apparently the last patch. Because she says this is the final week of PTS, because there was another, I believe Andrew over here asked about, hey, we're still testing the Dreadsail Reef hard modes. It's only been like less than 2 weeks since we started testing them, and he I guess, like, again, he brought up the 7th week and stuff, and of course the answer is the 5th week is technically the last, but yeah, I don't know. Yeah, it's just, to me, I think this kind of presents a new issue, or rather, like, reopened up a new issue, or the old issue of, well, they want more people to test stuff on PTS. So I'm just kind of concerned about going forward. Maybe we're gonna have to pre-order for PTS, which I don't know. Of course I can. Of course a lot of people can. A lot of raiders can, but it's like, I don't know. It just rubs me the wrong way for some reason. Can't quite put a finger on it. Yeah, and yeah, I think a lot of people are just, I'm just trying to think. I think a lot of people are just trying to like, they just feel slighted, for sure. I mean, I can see why. And yeah, I was gonna say something else, but yeah, it's whatever, I guess. It's just so weird. I mean, I feel like the issue I need to talk about here is PTS, right? If you want more testers, I think you should incentivize PTS, for sure. I think, because, like, the way I'm looking at it from is a perspective of a raider who goes on to test this stuff, right? The best of the best, or even, like, not really the best of the best sometimes, go to PTS to test the new trial, see if it's appropriate for all levels of players, or most levels of players that are trying to do the vet trial or vet trial hard modes or trifecta. The average raid team that goes to PTS every year for the chapter trial is at least 12 hours a week. Any serious raid team, at least. That are, like, trying to get it first or something like that. And the average raider, from what I observed, this PTS and the last PTS, spent an average of maybe 16 hours, because of course they fill for other teams and stuff. And to me, it's like 16, 12 hours a week. It's like, why not just give them the free? Why don't they just give them the chapter for free? You know what I mean? I think that'd be fine. It's like, there's so few testers already. There's so few teams already, testing it. I don't know. And then when they're saying, like, okay, you gotta pre-purchase to get the PTS, it's like, well, okay. But what if we didn't like it? What if we didn't like the trial? You know, people still are waiting to see if they need to if they should pre-order or should buy it when it comes out. So I don't know. But yeah, let's move on with the rest of the patch notes. I'm sorry for rambling, but I just need to get that out. I just need to vent a little bit because I was like, I was a bit upset earlier in the day, but I've mellowed out. Dread Sale. Okay, so we got significant nerfs to boss 1, and that's great in terms of layered mechanics, or rather overlapping mechanics, and really awkward timings. The boss 1 hard mode fight is really cool and really engaging and really fun, for sure. But there was definitely some things that made no sense to me, especially when I'm healing now. Like, why is a tank getting the tanks were getting way too much on them at the same times? And at one point, I think it's a lot more consistent to guard a tank, but then, of course, like, your health will desync if you're the healer guarding a tank. That's kind of awkward. But they nerfed the add damage. They readjusted the timings of stuff like the imminent blister or chill. They also respect taunt effects after teleporting. They nerfed the ads, which is huge again. And the Reef Guardian surprisingly did not get a nerf. So there were 2 ways of doing this boss 2 hard mode fight on PTS. You could take it real slow. I think at one point we were doing like a 10-minute halfway point fight. And then another maybe like 8 to 10 minutes, you could have killed it. That's a slow strat, not feasible for, you know, the trifecta or speedrun. And the other strats just keep pushing it. But the problem with that is I don't think it's consistently good either, because the mage add that applies a 75% healing debuff and pure oblivion damage through your shield and so forth, and really awkward spawn locations and stuff like that makes it a bit too overtuned. I think if they removed that mage add, and I don't know why they didn't, or even nerfed it, whatever, the fight would be great. I think the fight is really cool too, just like boss 1 hard. I feel like they just kind of try to do a bit too much with boss 1 and 2 with certain things, so that's cool. Tideborn Telerio, I still have some concerns about this boss fight. I think it's more, at least from what I've seen of others, more bearable than some aspects of boss 1 and boss 2 for sure. Looks like they nerfed the ads that spawn, including the behemoths. So the behemoths were spawning every 30 or so seconds on hard mode, which is crazy to me, because there's like 2 walls of tornadoes and all that stuff, and I guess it much less frequently. Maybe it's 1 minute and 30. Maybe it's every 2 minutes. That'd be interesting. And yeah, that's it for the trial. Apart from that, the only combat balance changes is, apart from the card game, right, is companions. But yeah, that is it, guys. Thanks for sticking with me through yet another 5 weeks of ESO PTS in a different chapter, different patch, different DLC. I hope to see you guys again. Stay safe and bye.